usually in top 10, top 20 universities in the UK for placements, which I'll explain a little bit more in a few minutes to you guys. As a campus, we are a centralized campus. I'm not showing you a video today just due to time factors, but as a campus, we are a centralized campus. So that means everything is put together in one area, so it's easy to access. It is a big campus, but you're able to walk and access not only the International Study Centre, where you can study Foundation International Year 1 easily, but also all of these 6 academic schools in and around the campus as well. Like I said before, there's a beautiful canal which runs through the middle of the campus. And because you are in the town centre, you're right next to all the public transport and all the shopping centres as well. So it's a great place to be in for sure. Whoops. So I mentioned before about placements. Oh, my computer's going crazy. I mentioned before about placements. This is one of the most successful areas about the University of Huddersfield. What this means is those who come into our undergraduate course programs, nearly about 96% of our courses for undergraduate offer what's called a placement year. What that means is that halfway through your second year, remember it's 3 years for a bachelor degree in the UK, halfway through your second year, you are assigned an officer to help you with your development of your CV writing, your job hunting, your interview skills, and then you're aimed to find a placement to work for a year between your second and final year. So essentially you go and work in an industry or a company which is associated with your course you're studying, and then you stop at the end of the second year, work for 1 year, you also get a small salary as well, and then you come back after the year to complete your final academic year. Yes, it's an extra year in length to your studies, but it's 100% the best option to go for because you're able to not only build up your industry connection and your work experience, but it enhances your final year of study with your ideas and thoughts, but also enhances your ability later on for potential job opportunities as well. I've put on some industry connections here on the slide as well. These are just some very famous ones, but we have lots of connections both locally and nationally as well. Just to give you one example at the moment, we've just had recently a student come through the International Study Centre who has now just completed their second year of their bachelor degree in automotive engineering, and they have just started their 1 year placement with Red Bull Formula One racing in South England. Yes, this is one excellent example of what students can achieve with their placements and where they go. So all of you here today, I strongly recommend you do go for your placement option in the future because it will be a fantastic and certainly a rewarding experience for you. I won't go through all the levels and courses. Of course, our key partners study group offer all our foundation and international year 1 and pre-masters courses. But just to let you know, we have around 500 undergraduate and masters and PhD courses at the university, which is a vast amount, and they are held in 6 academic schools. So we nearly have every course available on offer for students aiming to come and study at Huddersfield. In terms of scholarships, the way it works is now the scholarships for study group for their foundation, international year 1 and pre-masters programs are different to ours, but the way we have for our undergraduate courses is slightly different. So we have what's called a merit-based scholarship system. So depending on what score you achieve in your foundation or your international year 1 program in our International Study Centre, determines how much scholarship you will achieve. Okay. It also depends on the pathway course you'll study as well. So for example, if you are going in with the standard entry grades required into your undergraduate program, you could get £2,000 scholarship for each year of study, which obviously totals to £6,000 for a 3-year study. If you're a mid-level achieving grade scoring student, you could get £3,000 for each year of study, totaling £9,000 scholarship, which is fantastic. Or if you achieved very high grades on your foundation or your international year 1 course, you could potentially receive £4,000 scholarship for each of your academic taught year. So for a 3-year undergraduate, that's £12,000 scholarship, which is pretty amazing. Please note that this is not applicable to all courses because it depends on the academic school you're studying. So please make sure you read the information we will provide you in terms of our scholarship website. As I mentioned before, our international student support is superb in the university. We have fantastic array of support services in place for students coming into university, and this is why we're often highly ranked in this key area. So from your application journey with us, where you're invited to significant amount of webinars for insight into the course, to your induction into the course, to your welcome week, and beyond, you are provided with fantastic support and guidance from our immigration team, accommodation office, faith centres, medical centre, our award-winning career service, and also our job centre where you can search for part-time work. We have everything here on campus to make you not only welcomed, but you feel supported, and you feel safe and calm as well while you're studying your main programme. And of course, your study centre programme as well. What's key here as well as with the University of Huddersfield is the student experience. We have what's called global student societies and activities clubs. So global student societies are national societies where many students join and be part of to have an enriching experience. So for example, like India Society, Nigerian Society, Egyptian Society, we have them all. And students can join these societies and be a member and be part of the activities they deliver and share for other university students as well. You don't have to be from that country. You can join any global society. So that's a great thing as well. And also we have many sports societies, culture societies, many things you can think of to do running alongside your life as a student. So you're never short of things to do while at Huddersfield. In line with the last slide, we have many top-class facilities and resources. I would say that our campus is very much a mixture of beautiful historic buildings, but cutting-edge future-style buildings as well, where you're able to access incredible academic facilities, sports facilities, and many resources such as restaurants, cafes, and our award-winning library services as well. So no matter what aspect you need in your day-to-day life, we have it here on campus to make you welcome, and also you feel part of the life as a general student here as well. So we've only just a minute or two left for my presentation. Just quickly, just talking about accommodation as well. We have a significant array of options for accommodation. We have an incredible Diggs Stuffs Hall dormitory style accommodation for students. We also have many private accommodation options as well. Because it's a town, there's many options surrounding the campus area, and many of it is affordable. There's a great sense of low cost of living because you are in a town and not a city. And the choices are really, really good. So depending on if you want a small apartment, large apartments, private, shared, it's all available for international students, and all the services provided as well. Prices start around £85 per week for the accommodation, which is respectively really, really good for university accommodation. If you want to find out more, I can pass on my slides to the support and here team today. We have lots of links for you to get to check out from our fees, scholarships, information day information, and international guides. For example, if you go to our international fees page, you will be able to see that a lot of our courses start from around £15,000 per year, up to £17,000 per year, depending if it's a STEM-based subject. But please note, if, for example, your course is, say, £16,000 between 15 and 17, if you do get your scholarship, that could be reduced quite considerably to potentially £12,000, £13,000 per year. But again, the base fees are normally between 15 and 17,000 for students. One final thing as well, if you want to get more information and great insight about the University of Huddersfield, please follow our social media channels, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. So you've got a great wealth of media and information to follow and get insights about life as a student at University of Huddersfield. And that's it. I think I'm just around 10 minutes. I hope that's okay with the timing. I'm going to unshare my screen now. My contact details are here. You've obviously got the SI UK and Armin's team here as well today if you need any further insight after today's webinar. So please stay in touch, and I hope you enjoy the rest of today's session. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, David. That was great. And I'm seeing questions coming in from the students as well. So yeah, keep them coming. If you've got specific questions for Huddersfield Study Group or Cardiff, just let us know in the chat box and we'll answer them at the end of the session. So now I'm going to hand over to University of Cardiff. Reese is going to be doing the presentation for us today. So over to you, Reese.
Great. Thank you so much, Ravina. Thank you, SI UK and Study Group, for the opportunity to chat today. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. In the interest of saving a little bit of bandwidth, I'm going to put my camera off while I present, just to make sure that I come through loud and clear. But let me just share my screen. Hopefully this will work. Right. Can you see that?
Yes, we can see that.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. So hopefully you can see that in full screen. So thanks ever so much, everyone, for participating today. My name is Rhys Evans and I work here in the international office of Cardiff University. We do appreciate you taking the time to join the session today. Over the course of the next few minutes, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about Cardiff University and the city of Cardiff. And in doing so, hopefully giving you an idea as to why Cardiff University is a study destination of choice for so many students from all over the world. I think choosing what to study and where to study is a big decision. With so many things to consider, so many options available to you, choosing the right university isn't a decision that should be taken lightly or a decision that should be made quickly. It's an extremely exciting time, that's for certain, but I think it can equally feel quite daunting. Thankfully, there are plenty of online resources and helpful university staff available to assist you. My advice above all else is please do your research and seek advice. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't be afraid to reach out to the university. And of course, be sure to speak to your careers counsellors, to your educational advisors, and discuss your options with your friends and your family. When looking to study overseas, I think there are three things to consider. Firstly, what to study, and that's the subject area that you wish to study itself. Secondly, the ranking and the reputation of the university. And finally, the living and the study environment of the university. And I think that's particularly important because, of course, the university and the city that you choose will be your home for the next 3 or 4 years. So these are the things that I'm going to focus on as part of my presentation today. So without any further ado, I'll provide a brief overview of Cardiff University itself. Cardiff was established in 1883. Cardiff is a very ambitious and innovative university. We've got a student population of around about 31,000 students, 8,000 of whom are international students that come from about 140 countries around the world. So Cardiff's an extremely cosmopolitan university, and it's among the largest universities in the UK. The university is home to 24 academic schools, and is, as I'm sure many of you may know, a member of the prestigious Russell Group of universities. So the university ranks highly among the world's top universities, and thankfully we're recognised by sponsors and students alike as a study destination of choice. Like most UK universities, we offer a huge choice of undergraduate programmes, and this is why I always emphasise the importance of students doing appropriate and significant research to choose the right course of study for yourself. As I mentioned, the university is home to 24 academic schools. These are split across 3 colleges. So we have the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, and that's home to schools such as our Business School, our School of Law, our School of Journalism. We also have the College of Biomedical and Life Sciences. This is home to our School of Medicine, Psychology, Pharmacy, Dentistry. And last but by no means least, the College of Physical Sciences and Engineering. And this is home to our School of Architecture, Engineering, Computer Science, and so forth. University websites are a great source of information, and I'd encourage you to take a look at the university website, where you'll find information on all of our academic schools and our various programs that we offer. Use the university course finder pages to really explore every facet of our programs. And I think you'll soon realize that even those programs with the same titles will vary from institution to institution, and those differences may be subtle, but they're really important. You know, we're all individuals. We all have different ways that we like to learn, different ways that we like to be assessed. So really do take your time to delve into the course structure, to examine entry requirements, the module list, the teaching methods, the assessment criteria, to ensure that it really is the right course for you. And our course finder pages will also provide you with up-to-date information on course fees, as well as information about how to apply to the university. Many of our courses will offer flexibility so that you can tailor certain components of the program to suit your own interests and your career ambitions. So it's really important to have in mind, I think, where it is you want your degree to take you. So pay particular attention to quality marks such as accreditations, and look out for opportunities to broaden and add value to your study experience. Most Cardiff University programs are accredited by relevant professional or academic bodies, and many university programs will enable you to undertake an industrial placement or a period of study abroad as part of your program. And as David mentioned, you know, taking advantage of opportunities such as these can really provide you with additional experience and knowledge to help you stand out in the job market when you graduate. The ranking and the reputation of the university is a huge consideration when deciding where to study. I think this is especially true for international students, where perhaps the global profile of the institution and recognition of the qualification achieved is particularly important. I'm pleased to be able to say that Cardiff University, as a member of the prestigious Russell Group of Universities, has a national and international reputation for quality and for excellence. The university features highly and influential global league tables. And as you can see from this slide, many of our subject areas rank in the top 50 globally and in the top 10 in the UK. Indeed, league tables and rankings are a really valuable tool in helping you to make an informed decision about which university to choose. You know, they'll help you to build a picture of the university and inform your decision-making process. So be sure to really have a look at all of the various rankings that are available, because they all use a different criteria and they'll all tell you something different about the university. As I've already mentioned, Cardiff is a study destination of choice for thousands of students from all over the world, and this is something that we're really, really proud of. You know, we feel honoured. We feel honoured to be able to welcome so many international students. But we understand that for many international students, coming to Cardiff to start their studies might be their first experience of living away from home, perhaps their first experience of living or learning in a non-native language. And we understand that leaving friends and family and traveling halfway around the world to study is a big undertaking, to say the least. So we're very practiced in ensuring that our students are well supported throughout their studies to ensure that they're able to reach their academic goals. So we offer a comprehensive support to help students to settle into life in the UK. So upon arrival, we offer a coach collection service from Heathrow and from Cardiff Airport. This really helps to take some of the stress out of your journey to the university. We also offer a comprehensive induction program, which gives students the opportunity to kind of familiarise themselves with the university, their academic schools, the extracurricular activities, and to really kind of make friends and to settle in. And this is a really important part, I think, of the university experience. The experience or the support kind of is ongoing. So this includes the provision of a personal tutor for advice on academic matters, counselling services for advice and support in respect to well-being and mental health. So like all universities, we want our students to be happy and we want our students to succeed. So my advice to you all, regardless of where you end up studying, do take advantage of the support services that the university offers, because they're there to help you make the most of your experience. We guarantee university accommodation for all of our international students. All of the living options are just a short walk from campus, and there's a variety to choose from catered or self-catered, single or mixed sex accommodations. In all of the accommodations, you always have your own study room, and then perhaps you share a bathroom or a kitchen, dining room with 4 or 5 other students. But 70% of our accommodation actually offer en-suite facilities. We offer undergraduate scholarships to international students that range from £2,000 to £5,000. Awards are available across a wide range of subject areas and are offered in the form of a tuition fee discount. For the majority of our programs, our tuition fees are fixed for the duration of your program, so that helps with budgeting and planning for your study period. And we also have a campus job shop to help students find part-time work should they wish to do so. Thankfully, Cardiff is one of the most affordable cities in the UK. The city is very compact and flat, with the university located right in the city centre. So it's easy to walk and cycle, so you don't have to spend money on public transportation. So we estimate that a typical undergraduate student would need to budget around £10,000 to £10,500 for their living costs for one academic year. Okay, so last but not least, coming to the end of my time here, I'd like to talk very briefly about the living environment in Cardiff. As I've already said, leaving your friends and family is a big undertaking. So the importance of choosing a study destination where you feel happy, safe, and comfortable for the period of your study is really, really important, not only for you, but for the peace of mind of your friends and family back at home. And I think Cardiff is a really great choice in this respect. Located on the coast of South Wales, Cardiff is just a 2-hour train journey from London. As I'm sure you know, Cardiff is the capital city of Wales. It's regularly ranked as one of the UK's best cities for students, and I think this is primarily because of its affordable living costs, excellent transportation links, and the fact that the university is right at the heart of the city centre. The city has all the facilities and amenities that you'd expect to find in a modern European capital city, but the real pleasure of Cardiff is its size. The population is only about 350,000, so it's able to combine the very best of living in a major city with a safe, affordable and student-friendly environment. And as a capital city, it's well connected in terms of the UK itself, but also we have our own international airport, which is just about a 30 or 40-minute drive from the city centre, linking Cardiff to Europe and the rest of the world. Beyond the university, Cardiff is home to a modern shopping centre, to internationally recognised sports stadia, music venues, cinemas, and we even have a 2,000-year-old castle right in the heart of the city centre. And indeed, Cardiff boasts a really rich and diverse history. We're a proud multicultural city where you'll hear over 90 different languages spoken, where you'll find a myriad of religious and cultural facilities and a diverse range of international food shops selling produce from around the world. So Cardiff, I think, is a city where our students soon after arriving are able to quickly feel comfortable, settled, and ready to excel in their academic studies. So that was a whistle-stop tour of Cardiff University. I hope you found it helpful. The contact details for the university are on the screen right now. And on that note, I shall stop sharing and I shall switch my camera back on. Thank you ever so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Rhys, for the presentation. That was really useful. I think you actually answered a lot of the questions that were coming through in the chat box. So over to you now, Armin, for the last leg of our presentations today.
Thank you, Ravina, and David and Rhys, thank you so much for taking the time and going through the exceptional offerings at both universities. I just want to quickly touch base on what we offer within the study group with both of our partners, universities, University of Huddersfield and Cardiff. So naturally, David has touched base on the university's location, ranking, courses and tuition fees. I want to just emphasize on what we offer international students that are aiming to join us in the coming month or in January. So one of the key programs for the undergraduate students is naturally the International Foundation Year. This program is designed for students who are not at the right level of academics in English and hence require an additional year before they join the degree. We offer the foundation program with progression into 4 different subject areas. As David mentioned earlier, that within our foundation program, we offer progression to almost all of the degrees at University of Huddersfield. These routes are under business and management and law, engineering and computer science, health and human sciences, art, media, and architecture. As a standard rule for entry requirements, we require good high school graduation grades. Students need to provide a UKVI CELT, which is an IELTS UKVI or equivalent of 4.5 overall, with a minimum of 4 in writing and no other subscale below 4. Students also must be at the age of 17 at least and must turn 18 before the beginning of their studies into the degree. I won't go through the details here, but once we've shared these slides with you, you will be able to see the country-specific entry requirements as well. Similarly to the foundation, we also offer an international year 1, which leads into a second year at the university, meaning students will be able to complete their program in 3 years and achieve their degree, unless they go for an option of doing a year in placement, which, as David stated, is quite a significant addition to your degree and gives you really the opportunity to gain some work experience, and also opens doors for you for routes into employment upon graduation. As you can imagine, the high school qualifications or the academic qualifications will be slightly higher. Students also need to have an academic IELTS for UKVI, which is equivalent to 5, and no subtests below 5, and they must also be at the age of 17 and turn 18 before their degree. Under the International Year 1 programs, we offer the Business Management and Marketing and Engineering and Computer Science. Both of the programs I've mentioned earlier have intakes in November and January. Now, looking at Cardiff University, for November and January that are upcoming, we have 3 programs that are running. We'll start with the foundation or international foundation year, which offer 4 routes for students to choose from on the arts, humanities, law, social sciences, business, economics, accounting and finance, engineering, physical sciences and architecture, and finally, health and medical and life sciences. For certain programs under health and medical life sciences, the progression is only limited to September intake, so these will not be available. Degrees such as medicine and dental surgery will fit into that category. For foundation, as you can see the entry requirements here, we require an overall of 5 with 5 in writing, and similarly good high school graduation grades. For the International Year 1, we offer 3 routes. This is naturally an intense program that leads you into the second year of an undergraduate degree at Cardiff University, which again means that you'll be able to achieve your degree in 3 years. We have 3 routes for you to select from under accounting and finance, engineering and law. For all of our programs, we have a November and a January intake, with the exception of LLB law. And similarly to what we discussed earlier with University of Huddersfield, at Cardiff as well, if you're going for International Year 1, you're expected to have a higher academic qualification as well as a higher English level. In this case, we require a 5.5 overall with a minimum of 5.5 in writing and no sub-skill below 5. So in the next 5 minutes, I also want to highlight 2 of our other partner universities with quite substantial November and January intakes. But before we go into, apologies for our postgrad students, that we also have a pre-master program that is running in November and January. There are 2 routes for students to select from on the business, social sciences and humanities, as well as computer science. Our requirements are students need to have a first degree offer or a diploma in a related subject area. Depending on your IELTS level, we can determine the duration in which you would require to do a pre-master's. So students who are coming in at an IELTS level of 5.5 with all sub-skills at 5.5 will be able to do their pre-master's in 2 years. Students who are coming at a lower English level, such as a 5.0 in all sub-skills, or having an overall of 5, that will require 2.5 or 3-year semester programs. Again, depending on your English level and your flexibility, you'll be able to choose from one of the available intakes every year from September, November, January, or June. Moving on to address two of our other partner universities. We begin with Royal Holloway, University of London, and the International Study Centre. Just a quick overview of Royal Holloway. The university is ranked within the top 25 in the UK in the Guardian's ranking. It is also in the top 25% of universities for research, and has over 95,000 alumni from 165 countries. The picture you see here is of the founders building, which is quite a famous building in the university and one of the most beautiful campuses in the UK. Royal Holloway's University is located in Egham. It's quite a safe, student-friendly town. It's not far from central London. So from central London, it's about 40 minutes by train, and the closest airport to Royal Holloway would be Heathrow, which is only 7 miles away. It's also one of the safest student areas in the UK as Egham, and the university offers many on-campus and off-campus accommodation.
Hello.
Sorry, Salma, can I ask you to go on mute as we go through? Thank you. In terms of our offering for the November and January, so we do offer, similarly to Cardiff and Huddersfield, a foundation year, which is 2-semester program with an intro requirements quite similar in terms of the academic, where IELTS requirements are set at 5 with a minimum of 5 in writing and no subskill below 4. There are 3 different subject areas to choose from. So you could go with the business and management route. You can go with the humanities and social sciences, or with the sciences degrees, which include both life sciences and physical sciences. Many programs do offer the option of a placement year, where you're able to do an additional year in industry to gain more experience and confidence. We also have an international year 1 program that runs in January of each year. This is naturally a program that requires you again to have a higher academic and English qualification, but you will be able to graduate within 3 years. There are 4 different subject pathways to choose from a business and management perspective: electrical engineering, computer science, and economics. Students are also expected to have a higher IELTS, which will require 5.5 overall and a minimum 5.5 in all subtests. And finally, University of Sussex. For those of you who know, University of Sussex is located in Brighton. It is ranked 151st in the Times Higher Education ranking in 2022, and also in the UK's ranking currently in the 21st place. It is a research-led university as well, so 89% of the research activity at Sussex is categorized either as world-leading or internationally excellent. Similarly to what colleagues mentioned with University of Huddersfield and Cardiff University, that many of the programs do offer the option of doing a placement year. And as you can see in the statistics here, 93% of students who completed the ICE program have also been successful in progressing to the university. In terms of location, as you can see, Sussex is in the south of England. So from Brighton itself, the campus is about 9 minutes away by train. Brighton itself is only 30 minutes away from Gatwick Airport in London, and Brighton is 1 hour away from central London. In terms of our offerings, we have the International Foundation Year that has 2 routes on the business, media, and social sciences, and science and engineering. I won't go through the details of the academic requirements, but it is up here on this page for your review. And similarly for the International Year 1, we have 6 different routes for students to select from who are joining us in January or November. And as you can imagine, again, the English requirements for an International Year 1 is slightly higher, where we require overall 5.5 and 5.5 in writing. And finally, for postgraduate students who are wishing to do a pre-masters, they have 2 routes to select from on the business, media, and social sciences, and science and engineering. Similarly to Cardiff University, for students who don't have the right academic level, they can choose to go with a 1 semester or 2 semester pre-masters, depending on their language grades. The intakes for these programs are November and January for the 2 semester, and January and May for students with higher in English. And finally, CAS deadlines for the November intake. So these deadlines are in place for students who wish to join us on the 28th of November. We'll be shortly also announcing the CAS deadlines for the January intakes. CAS deadlines are the deadlines in which students must be ready for their CAS, as in they've submitted their application, unconditionally confirmed their places, and fulfilled all the requirements of their offer. Once they have done so, we'll be able to issue you a CAS, which you will use for submitting your student visa application. This CAS deadlines are dependent on the visa processing times in your country and availability of the priority visa service. I've highlighted some of the key countries and the CAS deadlines against each of those countries. Actually, if your country is not listed here, you can always reach out to our colleagues at SI UK, which will be able to guide you on the processing times. But in a brief, if you're going with a standard visa processing time, as you can imagine, as you can see, many of the deadlines are very close to they reach on the 28th of and 21st of October. If priority visa service is available in your country, then you'll be able to apply until the 11th of November. So with that being said, I want to now pass over to Ravina and address questions in the chat.
Brilliant. Thank you, Armin, for the presentation. I think you covered a lot of great things and covered a lot of questions that the students actually have in the chat box as well. Thank you once again, Reese and David, as well for your presentations. And I'm just going to go through some FAQs, and then to the students who are asking the questions, please keep them coming. We'll be spending the last 15 minutes of the session asking and answering any questions that you've got as well. So the first kind of common question that we get from students is like, what are the course fees like, and do you offer any scholarships? That's one for you, Armin.
Yeah, absolutely. So naturally, the course fees do depend on the degree that you're going to, and of course, our partner universities. So our tuition fees are mostly aligned with what our partner universities have to offer. So if we look at, for instance, University of Huddersfield, the range of the tuition fees for our undergraduate programs at Foundation IY1 are about £14,000. For Cardiff University, it's closer to £17,000. Now, we do also offer scholarships that students can apply for. These range from £1,500 all the way to £3,500 scholarships. Those scholarships are assessed on a case-by-case, naturally. So depending on your academic performance and your profile, we'll be able to confirm if you are eligible for those. Looking at a holistic view, outside of the tuition fees, students have to also consider the living expenses. We know that Huddersfield as an area is not quite an expensive location. It's quite affordable for students. Cardiff, similarly, is one of the best locations in the UK for students to be in terms of affordability as well. So those students have to put those in consideration, but on average is somewhere between £8,000 to £10,000 per year for living expenses.
Brilliant. Thank you, Armin. The next question actually is for all three of you. So the question is, if a student joins an ISC, can they access the university's facilities as well? So I don't know if, Armin, you want to start, and then maybe Reese, you can jump in after.
I mean, short answer is yes, absolutely. We want our students to be part of the university from the first day of the program. Our International Study Centre is in the heart of the university, so the students will be able to access that, but I will leave it to colleagues to comment further.
Well, just really to echo what Armin said, yes, the students who are doing programs in our International Study Centre are Cardiff University students. They're an integral part of our student body. The International Study Centre, where the students study, is located right in the heart of the university campus in our Centre for Student Life. So yeah, absolutely, students can access the libraries, can access our sporting facilities. We're very proud to call them Cardiff University students.
Yeah, I'll echo again on that. Everything that everybody else has already said. And just to add to that as well, I think because students if you're comparing someone who's coming through certain levels of their country to someone directly into a bachelor degree in the UK, to someone who's coming through the ISC, for example, on foundation, because someone coming through the foundation in International Year 1 has all this access to the facilities, and also in conjunction with a lot of the lecturers as well of their modules, they are already well accustomed to the education system. So when they do go into their bachelor degree, they're very confident, they know how to use the facilities already, they're in a great position on the front foot to be very successful at the bachelor degree level as well. So yeah, 100%, all good.
Thank you so much for your responses. I think that's not only important for students to hear, but also for their families as well, that they're integrated into the university life. And yeah, David, you made a great point about the students actually having a slight advantage if they come into the foundation program. They're already comfortable with the facilities, like you said. So our next question is actually about progression rate. So the students asking if there what's the progression rate like, and if there's any guaranteed progression into the universities.
Absolutely. So in terms of the guaranteed progression, naturally, a student, once they accepted their place on an offer for a certain program, they are guaranteed progression subject to meeting certain criteria. Now, those criteria are academic and English-based that they need to fulfill. If they are successful in those, then yes, absolutely, there'll be guaranteed progression. There are some exceptions for those niche programs, such as medicine, dental surgery, that require further interviewing process for students to in order for them to be selected for progression degrees. As an overall, for both University of Huddersfield and Cardiff University, we've always maintained the 90+ progression rate in terms of the number of students that have been successful in their pathway programs. Naturally, the dependency of that is on the student, but they are receiving a high level of support from our International Study Centre, as well as the colleagues in the university, to ensure a smooth transition into their degree.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add onto that.
No, I think Armin put it perfectly well across there. I think also to add to it as well, we've got to realize here as well, students also need to put their effort in it as well. You've got incredible support here, you've got incredible modules, incredible tutors, incredible facilities, but at the same time, it's no easy ride for any course you're going to study globally. You've got to make sure you're going in with the right attitude, focus, and like Armin says, we have incredible statistics, 90% plus who do then go into their chosen program. So like I said before as well, those who do come through our foundation in International Year 1 and pre-masters are usually superb students, already well accustomed, confident, ready to go on the front foot. So yes, they're in a great position.
Brilliant. Thank you for that answer. And I think the last kind of common FAQ that we tend to get is, if a student joins a foundation program for one institution at study group, are they allowed to progress on to a different university at the end of their course?
So in a short answer, first of all, when we talked about this earlier, that when students join the International Study Centre at the partner university, they're part of that university. So the aim is for them to graduate from the university. So for instance, if a student joins us at Cardiff International Study Centre, the aim is for them to graduate from Cardiff University with a degree, and hence they are in that location, in that centre. So in a short answer, no, it's not possible. They need to go to their selected university degree. However, there are some exceptions when students don't meet certain criteria. So, for instance, if we have a case of a student who's chosen to go to Huddersfield University, but have not met the requirement to go to the university, and we couldn't accommodate them with that option, then our center will look into the options of offering them alternatives, either within the study group network or any other university. And that's to ensure that they are successful and they're not out of options if they fail to go to their chosen university.
Thank you. We're actually having a couple of students now inquiring about pre-master's programs, so I'll just try and loop all of their questions together. So they are asking, what about a student who is not directly eligible for a master's program? A, can they do a pre-master's? And then B, they are asking, is pre-master's a requirement if a person is not fluent in the English language?
To answer the first question, yes, if you don't have the right academic and English level, absolutely, you'll be able to join the pre-master program. And this program is designed for international students. We teach in smaller classrooms, which are specifically only international students, and hence give them that chance to be successful once they go to their degree. If it's a mandatory requirement for all non-fluent students, then no, that's not the case. If you have the right academic level and you are at the right level of English required by the university for your degree, then you'll be able to go for a 1-year master program or 2-year with a placement directly without the need of the pre-master program.
And just to add to that, really, if a student does meet the academic requirements but just falls short in terms of the required IELTS level or equivalent, most universities will run pre-sessional English language courses for perhaps a period of 8 weeks or 12 weeks or 20 weeks, just to kind of enable you to kind of enhance your English levels to the point that you need for those programs. So know that there are other options beyond the pre-masters.
Absolutely. Thank you, Reese.
Thank you, Reese. Yeah, so the students actually also asking, so the students willing to do a master's degree in the UK, but is it a requirement for them to do the pre-masters even if they're very fluent in English? I guess I already know the answer to that, but yeah.
Yes, we've already answered that they're not required to if they meet the requirements for directly qualifying.
Brilliant. So there's a student asking that they are from Australia and they'd like to come and study in the UK next year. Do they still need a student visa, and how do they go about applying for that?
I think maybe colleagues would know more on their immigration status. I would assume it's a yes, but Reese, you may know more.
Reiterate, all international students essentially will need a student visa to study in the UK. So once you've submitted your application to the university, if the university makes you an offer, and that offer is an unconditional offer, at that point the university will will provide you with something called a CAS, and essentially it's the CAS that you need then to take to your local embassy or visa office, and it's that will enable you to apply for your visa. But yes, certainly as an international student you do need a visa to study in the UK.
Thank you, Reese. And there's also a question, Reese, which you've already answered in the chat, but a lot of students are asking about English language requirements or alternates to the IELTS English language test. So I don't know if you want to let students know what those are, and if anyone else wants to jump in on that as well.
Well, just to reiterate really the response that I put in the chat, most universities will accept a range of English language qualifications. So whilst IELTS is perhaps the most well-known of the English language equivalencies, and that's perhaps the qualification that most international students will take, most universities will also accept a variety of in-country examinations or TOEFL. So my advice, and it goes back to my presentation really, my advice is to take a good look at the university websites, because you'll see on there information about accepted English language equivalencies, and that information will be available to all international students. So certainly on the Cardiff University web pages, if you click and on the study pages, you'll find a list of the qualifications that we accept. But the short answer is yes, there are plenty of other options beyond IELTS, but perhaps IELTS is just the more familiar, recognised qualification that most students and indeed representatives will refer to. But there are a suite of qualifications that we can all accept.
Yeah, I can go with everything said there. I think basically you just need to check with each individual university. They will have a listing of alternative qualifications accepted. So, for example, it could be TOEFL IBT, it could be Pearson, for example. These are just some of the most famous household ones as well, which we accept. And also as well, there might be certain curriculums you've studied within your country. For example, it might be an international one, such as the International Baccalaureate, and other aspects like this where you don't need to do an additional English qualification depending on the English grade you've done on that curriculum. But yeah, as we said, most universities have certainly the open door, so to speak, on a lot of qualifications, but do check with each individual university. Thank you.
And really, I mean, that advice goes across all aspects of studying in the UK. You know, all universities will have a slightly different entry requirements, will have slightly different rules, regulations. So do your research. You know, as I mentioned in the presentation, there are so many varieties, and it's such a big decision to go to study overseas in terms of cost, in terms of time, and it's really, really important that you make the right decision for you and you make an informed decision. So do take your time to investigate the universities and their websites, because they're a great source of resource that will enable you to make an informed and more the right and the correct decision for yourself.
And just to add one more thing to that as well, like I used to teach IELTS for many years, and such sort of examination boards are not just set up just to pass a test, they're also priming you and preparing you to be an individual and independent use of English at a high level of education. Because no way talking about it, it's a difficult transition. You're going off to do a master's, for example, for 1 year. You're going to be going to lectures and seminars. You have to be independent with that English language. So you've got to make sure you're confident and independent with your abilities. So yeah, make sure that you're well prepared and that you're in a great position to then go on and be a successful independent user of English at a high level. Thank you.
Further to that, if I may just jump in again, just in terms of, you know, David touched upon it there, you know, the style of learning and teaching in the UK is very different from other parts of the globe, you know. So I think students, it's really important to come in to the experience with your eyes wide open. You know, there'll be lots of lecturers, there'll be small group teaching, there'll be an expectation you do an awful lot of independent study and research around your subject areas, so that when you come to seminars, you can contribute, you can argue, you can discuss. So it's really important to have a really good understanding of all aspects of the kind of UK education sector when making this big decision.
Thank you so much, both. Yeah, that was really insightful. And yeah, Rhys, you mentioned about doing your research. So on that note, both David and Rhys have added some great links in the chat box. So you have a look at them, save them, so you can go and look at it after this presentation as well. And I think one final question that I'll take is the students asking, how long does it usually take for the institutions to process the application, and how soon should they be applying?
I'll jump in on that one first. I think I did post a message before on this before. Basically, it depends on each university and the context of things. I know, I'm sure Cardiff as well has been experiencing a bumpy year in terms of international applications coming in to the UK. So it's difficult for certain universities, maybe Rhys can, but it's difficult to say a certain time frame for individual applications. I think just to play it safe, peak time, such as now for January intake, you could be waiting not just a couple of days, it could be a good few weeks for an update for your application, simply due to the massive intake of applications during that period. All I'll say is this: as long as you make sure you prepare an offer-ready application, i.e. you do your research like we've just talked about in terms of entry requirements, you feel confident about getting an offer in that university. If you feel confident, once you submit the application, while you're waiting, you can then preempt what's going to come, i.e. prepare any additional documents you might be required to do, doing a TB test if you're from a certain country, whatever it might be. So make sure you're on the front foot and prepared in advance when you hopefully do get an offer. But difficult to give a time frame right now, but again, in peak times, it could take a few weeks, certainly with how the UK is being responded to with mass influx of applications recently. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd echo much of that. It's very difficult to put our finger on how long it's taking to process applications at the moment. But, you know, typically it does take a number of weeks. I often say the good things in life are worth waiting for. And that's certainly the case often when you're applying to UK universities. The overriding piece of advice really is don't leave it to the last minute, because the process of traveling overseas, there's so much for you to do, there's so much preparation, there's so much planning to do. You know, make it as easy for yourself as possible. So get your application form in early. Often, you know, the earlier you apply, there may be more seats available, so perhaps your chances of success are that little bit higher. Do again to check out the websites, because certain programs might have an early deadline compared to others. So a perfect example for that is at the undergraduate level, you have to apply early for things like medicine or for dentistry or for veterinary practice. So do check the websites for specific deadlines, but make life as easy as possible for yourself by applying in good time, so there's no stress. And the universities will endeavour to process your applications as soon as we possibly can.
And if I could just add on the IC perspective, for our admissions turnaround time, naturally is a standard 48 working hours to issue offers, but naturally IC works quite differently than universities. So bear that in mind, and that's only for pathway programs where we have such turnaround times in place. As Reese and David have mentioned, plan it early, of course, apply as soon as you can. We can issue students conditional offers, so if you don't have all the documents, you'll be able to get an offer until you provide the outstanding ones, and ensuring that you do arrive to the university on time.
If I could just add to that, in terms of the application process, do take your time over your application. Make sure that you get it right, both in terms of providing the information that the universities are asking for, but also in terms of your personal statement. Often this is your one chance to really promote yourself to the university. So make sure that you demonstrate your motivation, your skills, your experience, and all those things that are going to enable you to succeed during your studies. So say this is your chance to perhaps sell yourself, for want of a better word, beyond your academic background. So do take your time over the application, particularly the personal statement.
Great, thank you, Reese. And on that note, Armin, I just wanted to say for the November intake, obviously that's coming up very soon. If it's okay, maybe you could remind students of when the deadline is and what they should be doing if they're interested in coming this November.
Absolutely. I'll share the slides with you, Ravina, and the rest of the team for students' references to be shared as well. So most of our CAS deadlines are the end of October and beginning of November. For students who have priority visa service available in their countries, the deadline is on the 11th of November for them to be CAS ready and submit their visa applications to arrive to the centre by the 28th of November.
Well, thank you once again, everyone, and thank you to all the students as well who've joined us. Hopefully we were able to answer all your questions. If not, you have the contact details of the reps after each presentation, and I've also included the email address of SIUK in the chat box for any ready to apply students. Thanks again for your time, and hopefully we'll see you at our next session. Bye, everyone.
Thanks all. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Take care now. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.